Hello, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's just get this on here. Just going to make myself the speaker if possible. Okay, there we go. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for joining here today. I'm super excited to be sharing with you how to become a money magnet. I hope that sounds fun to you. I'm going to start the chat for those of you that are new to Zoom. If you scroll your little mousey thing towards the bottom, you can activate the chat log on the side. And so I'll be keeping an eye on that for questions. And if I can't get to everything, then Jen, I have no sound. Oh, from me? Can you guys hear me? Type in there if you can hear me. Okay, cool. I don't know. Maybe try logging out and logging back in if you aren't hearing me. Perfect. Okay, so we're all set. So you can see the chat log on the right-hand side. So feel free to, it's fun when it's interactive. It's fun, I think, when people are on the call, it brings a different energy to the call. All of you being here makes it perfect and wonderful. And so thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us all here and do a little work, right? I'm going to be teaching some keys on how to really be open to receiving more money in your life, as well as taking a look at, where are some of the mindset blocks? Where might you be blocking money from happening? In case you might be blocking money from happening, right? Because it happens. It's really part of, I think money is one of the biggest triggering, it's one of our biggest spiritual growth lessons. It's like it helps us grow and transform immensely. It's like an immediate in our face, where are we at with things is such a big indicator because there's a lot of energy on that, right? Whether it's through family programming, through social beliefs, you have to work hard to make money. There's just so many things around tied to money. And for me, money is all tied to freedom, right? It's about knowing that I have freedom to make choices and I have freedom to have experiences and have experiences with my family and life and spend my time and energy experiencing the world instead of worrying over how I'm going to make the next bill, right? And I can know that it's a byproduct, natural byproduct of being a spiritual being to create abundance. And I know many people that are drawn to me are also here to make an impact in the world. And so as we make our income, we allow income in, we actually allow our impact to spread and to help more people. So today, I just want to thank you again for joining me on that. Over the next hour, I'm going to go do my best to give you as much information as possible to help you transform things. And at the end, I'm going to share a way that you can take this information deeper if you know that you're ready to really shatter the glass ceiling for yourself and work through some of these deeper money core issues. I have something very exciting I want to share with you at the end as well. So thank you again for joining. And I think that one thing I want to start with is just one affirmation I love to say, and it's fun, right? I love money and money loves me. You can say that out loud to yourself. I love money and money loves me, right? It feels good, right? Does it feel good to you or does it trigger you? I know sometimes there's lots of feelings around like maybe you feel like you've been told as a child you're selfish or you should just be happy with what you have. And so being able to say, I love money and money loves me, and just noticing how does that feel in your body is a good indicator of some of the mindset things that might be there for you. So it looks like everybody's able to hear now, so that's awesome. Thank you. Jennifer says it feels good. Awesome. Yeah, it does feel good, huh? It makes it more playful because money can be a very serious topic, right? Does it money sometimes, depending on your household as well, maybe my parents used to fight a lot about money, right? It was something that was tied to causing pain in some way, right? So I had a love-hate relationship with it. So just be keeping in mind, what thoughts come up as we go through these exercises, because it's going to help expand your awareness and your ability and capacity to receive more. And really, when we open our money channels, it's receiving everything: support, ideas, intuition, guidance, all of these things. When we push and we say no to one aspect, we're actually blocking ourselves in many different areas. So, all right. So I'm going to give just a short snippet of my story because some of you are new to me. Some of you have been with me, but I think it's important to share a little bit about myself, right? Right now, I'm excited about life. Life is fun. I know that I get to experience making an impact, making money, doing what I love. I get to take vacations, travel to Hawaii. I get to set my own schedule. I think one of my favorite things is being able to set my own schedule, and most of the time don't have an alarm. Sometimes I do, but that's by choice, right? And it just feels really good. And I feel like for me, it's this balance of divinity and action, and really, having meditation and Zumba and creativity as a part of my everyday workday. It's really something I've created as an essential foundation that I know supports my success and my happiness and my income, right? And my bank account. And so it definitely wasn't always that way. I've been a self-employed single mom. At the age of 20, I had my daughter. I've been self-employed since my 20s, started out in hair and makeup, and I was able to build a six-figure business specializing in makeup and hair. But I, during that time, had no tools. I just was go, go, go. I was in the mindset that you had to work hard for money, you had to hustle, you just had to push through. Right? I was just pushing through, trying to manage the house, manage soccer, manage just everything, right? And I didn't allow, all of my needs got set on the back burner. And I really never got to it, right? And so one tip I'd say is learning to fill up my own love cup has really expanded my capacity to receive. Well, I ended up hitting my burnout point. I was in massive debt. I was having cycles of unhealthy relationships. When I hit my rock bottom and really had my wake-up call, I ended up having a car accident, which fortunately nobody else was involved in. But I realized that running my life from this hamster wheel of like life's taking me for a ride and using food and alcohol as my only form of stress relief wasn't working for me, right? It wasn't going to work for me anymore. But I was really afraid because I didn't know how to do anything differently. So through this awakening process, my intuition really started waking up. My grandfather came to me in a dream, reminded me of this mind-body-spirit connection, that we have spiritual support, and it really shifted something immediately for me that gave me a sense of peace I'd never experienced in my life, right? I didn't have all the answers, but I knew that moment was a pivoting point for me, and I was able to allow in the spiritual support that I really had forgotten or wasn't even really aware of. And so my intuition popped open. I kind of became an avid learner of every self-help book possible for about a year. I'm realizing during this time that what used to work on my life, right, like my life, like my mindset and everything was no longer working, and yet I didn't know where I was going. So that was kind of an interesting in-between time. But through that process, I really found out that I was highly sensitive. And I feel like the people that come to me are often highly sensitive as well. And the cool thing about that is everyone in the world has intuition. But when you're highly sensitive, once you learn how to ground yourself and your energy and recognize the difference between yours and somebody else's, our manifesting abilities and our intuitive abilities are just boom, they're loud. They're loud receptors, right? Because again, everybody can have this, but it's just a unique way for us that just a few simple tweaks of really putting in balance and self-care and meditation, those little tools make it really easy for us to manifest in a space of no effort. Not that there's not action, but not burnout, right? And so, yeah, and that's some of what I want to share with you today is just, during that time, I think some of the mindset, tell me if you can relate to this, was, I was making a lot of money, but somehow I was always broke. Like somehow if I made the extra money, then something would happen. A car would happen, a car would break down, I would manifest, something would come up. And it didn't feel like I was manifesting it at the time. Just felt like, oh my God, I can't catch a break, right? Every time I get ahead, something comes up and I just can't save, or I could never have enough money extra. It was just always, no matter how much I made, the money was being spent somewhere. Can any of you relate to that? Or, what are some of the money things that you believe? I believe that there was no option but to hustle and to work hard. Right? I think it's kind of ingrained in us to work really hard for money. Sometimes even when our mindset shifts and our awareness shifts, it's sort of what we can do. So it takes a little bit of time to switch our vibration and to really owning, first it's awareness, and then it's embodying it, and then it's just receiving that new vibrational set point. So that's a little bit of what I want to share just about me and how I can understand, and the cool thing is when I went through this awakening process, I really learned and I realized that we are all powerful creators. Like we are all powerful creators. I remember when I got this mindset shift, I was so excited. I wanted to tell like the entire world. I wanted all my family and friends and like everybody to just know, you are powerful. Guess what? This is so awesome. We're not victim to our lives. We can actually change it, right? Like that was a completely foreign concept to me. And I quickly realized not everybody wants to have that help or awareness or information, right? And so you have to just understand that that is what drives me. It is my gift, and I feel like it's my calling to help support other people awaken to their true potential and their spiritual intuition and their unique purpose by tuning back into themselves. And so, yeah, that's exciting to me. So that's a little bit more what I'm going to share about how to really tap into harnessing that power for yourself. It's the first time I've actually put this particular workshop together. It's all stuff I teach, but it's I'll probably be looking at my notes so I stay on track because I don't want to go over time. So I would say, how about we just take 1 second here and close your eyes for just a minute and just allow yourself to sink into your body. You might want to just put your hand on your heart. We're just going to do like a quickie meditation of just visualizing yourself into the future. Like allow yourself to look at, where, what is it that you're wanting to manifest? What does it look like to be receiving, since we're talking about money, the amount of money? What does that lifestyle look like to you? Right? What would you be doing differently? What are you excited to step into? And think about why. Why do you want this? It's easy to say, I want to make this amount of money, but when you can attach it to your why, well, I want to experience taking these trips with my daughter and travel the world and create bonding moments, right? What is it? How does it affect you? What is your why, your personal why and your global why, right? Because I know a lot of you probably want to make an impact in the world, but how will this lifestyle really help you and your family enjoy even more together? And how will that feel? Right? Take notes to how will that feel in your body when you're not having to worry about when the next client's coming from, when you're not having to worry about how you're going to pay the bills. Or maybe you're already in a good space, but how will it feel to be able to, like for me on my board, is like, I want a personal chef, man. I don't like cooking, but I want to eat healthy and I don't often take the time to prep. So I would love to have somebody do for me. Get yourself out into the bigger vision. Awesome. Go ahead and open your eyes. And just noticing that, right? Just noticing and taking it, getting that vision and really knowing, not only what you want, especially money, right? If I think most of us, yeah, money's great. I think most people that are attracted to me want it all in a sense, right? But there's also a deeper sense of freedom. Like freedom's a core value for me, and money equals experiences and freedom to not be limited with my choices, or just not to have to worry, to have fun, right? To experience life. We're here to experience life. So it's important to know also, because sometimes we want to put our head in the sand a little bit. And so it's important to understand the first concept is around that idea that we were talking about, which is that you are powerful creators. We're creating every second and every moment. And not putting our head in the sand and just, either victimizing or blaming, right? Sometimes it can be hard to swallow that concept, but once we accept that, we really get to be in our point of power. We can pivot and change things for ourselves. And so just knowing that whatever we created for ourselves, right, whatever financial debt or whatever stresses or whatever, whatever we're creating, we can change. And that's the exciting thing. And I think with money, sometimes we put our head in the sand a little bit. Sometimes we don't want to look at it. But what I found is when we can actually look at money, right, when we can look at, what money's coming in and have gratitude for it, even if it's maybe not as much as we were hoping or wanting or needing, right, just being grateful for what is in your experience, where you put your attention on looking at the numbers, because sometimes we don't want to look at the numbers, right? Knowing what's coming in, even tracking it, grateful every single day for the money, and even putting the zeros when the zeros are there is okay, because you get to focus on what's coming in, and where our attention goes, energy flows. And with money, sometimes I think we want to turn our head the other way, especially if it's not going in the direction that we want, right? So I don't know if you can relate to that, but I definitely know that has been true for me. And when I started tracking money, that's a tip that you can start if you aren't already, that really starts to help, call more in. And another thing is just noticing when you say no to yourself. And this is a really big concept, right? For me, money is infinite. Like if I look at my concept of money, and money is infinite, it's energy. It's always moving. It's available to all. So just right away dispelling any beliefs that the more I have, the more it takes away from somebody else is an important one, especially I think for heart-centered, spiritual, empathic people. We feel sad about knowing that people are maybe suffering and not having food. And so there's a part in our programming that can go way back, right? Or even very presently for us that can make us feel like maybe as a child you're told, don't be so selfish, be happy with what you have, you're never satisfied, don't be so greedy. Like there's these little programmings that get in there that make us think it's wrong to want, or that it might be taking away from another person. So just being aware of your mindset is really, really important. So we're going to be talking a bit about, mindset and noticing what comes up for you. If you have any of your beliefs that even if you don't believe them, I think consciously we can intellectually know something, but then, what comes up for you when you start thinking about making more money? Where do you limit yourself when you say no? When you want to buy something for yourself, whether it's treating yourself to a massage or something that might feel like a splurge for you, where do you say no? Why do you say no? What thoughts come to your mind? If you want to share in the chat, it's always helpful for everybody. You don't have to, because I know sometimes we don't want to air our laundry, but really we all have these things going on, right? And it's just really important to become aware of what these voices are in our heads so that we can not let the fear and the limits drive our creation process, right? It's driving our process all the time. And so the more that we can start to bring our awareness to what that's silly, even if you don't believe it, like, well, gosh, where did that thought come from, right? Sometimes it takes a while to actually deprogram ourselves and really kind of shift our neural pathways and shift our habit of thinking and shift our vibrational frequency to match feeling worthy of deserving something or feeling worthy of receiving something, right? Or just knowing and trusting that money is infinite and always flowing. And it's meant to be not held on tightly to, but it's meant to be used and let go of. And I know that for me and for my clients and peers, when you really start investing in yourself, it's always supported, especially if it's something to do with your purpose or something that's going to better or have you be more enjoying life, right? Supporting my body. I know I used to always think, as a hairdresser, standing for some time, I was used to work like 5 days a week, 10-hour days sometimes, just standing and double booked with clients. And I just was so exhausted, but I didn't think that I didn't feel like, my money was tight. And so I didn't feel like I could prioritize giving myself massages. But man, when I started actually having that mindset shift and realizing, what, my body is my tool. Like this is supporting me. When I nurture and fill up my own love cup through self-care, I receive more money. I'm actually a vibrational match to it. And when I don't do it, then I receive less money. So it's almost like a catch-22. So we have to just trust and prioritize ourselves, I think, a lot of times, right? That'll help raise our vibrational frequency to be able to receive more. So let me know if that makes sense for you guys, or if that resonates, or if you have any questions too along the way. So just noticing where you say no. I'll share a quick story. I had a second car accident. I think we all manifest differently. And the cool thing is, I think, we don't have to create through such tragedy, but usually people, their big wake-up calls will be, when we're ignoring the whisper, it'll manifest into a health disease or a relationship divorce, or for me, car accidents tend to be something that I've had. I've had 2 different ones, both of which I wasn't listening to the whisper of what my alignment was. And then I obviously created something more dramatic. Well, this time around, I was very aware that I was creating my own reality. I was out of work for 6 weeks. I had no way to pay. I was self-employed 100%. And I was like relying on my family to help me pay for my mortgage and all of my bills. And I realized that in the very beginning, the angels, I was very attuned to the angels and the universe and asking for support at this time, right? Opening and asking. And they were like, this is a huge opportunity for you to really, heal your ability to receive. Like surrender to allowing people to do for you and support you. Now, I didn't have to create the car accident to get this, but clearly I guess I did, because I wasn't listening to my call for my purpose. I wasn't listening, things were getting in misalignment, and I was just not trusting that it could support me. And so this experience happened, which created an opportunity of growth that I chose. I was able to maximize. Well, long story short, because there's many miracles that came from that, but this was a very powerful lesson. They said every time your job is to just hand over the worry. Don't worry about the how. You hand over the worry and know that it's taken care of. You're taken care of. Your bills are going to be paid. I realized I was $500 short, and I didn't have the heart to ask my dad for my car payment. But it was due in it was due in a few weeks, and they kept saying it's taken care of. Well, here we are a day or two out, and I'm like, okay. I wasn't really worried actually, but I still didn't have the money, and I didn't know who to ask for it, because I was sitting in bed for 6 weeks, unable to really hardly even get out but a wheelchair. And And 3 weeks before, like right when this first happened, one of my clients called me and said, hey, I'm going to make you a walker bag. And I'm like, no. And then I was like, oh, wait, this is a yes. I had to say yes to everything. Okay, it was like a challenge to say yes to everything. We say no all the time, right? So I said, all right, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I texted her back and said, yes, sure, make me a walker bag. Well, anyways, long story short, when it comes up to the time, she brings the walker bag out to me, I felt inside and there was a card inside. And here I am 2 days out. This was like 3 weeks prior. So 2 days out from my car payment. And I opened it up after she left and $500 just like fell into my lap, right? And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, it was an exciting miracle because now my money came and they kept telling me, I was listening and trusting in it and I didn't block it. But what they showed me was where I say no. When she first called and asked me if she could make me a walker bag, I was like, no, I don't want her to waste her time. I thought I was doing her a favor, right? It was kind of like, no, I don't want you to waste your time. I don't want you to go through the effort. I don't plan on being in a walker for very long. Like I knew it was a short-term thing. And here it was. She's asking, well, how can I support? The angels whisper. She got an intuitive idea. Later when we talked about it, she's like, I didn't know if you'd need help. I just thought, oh, I wish I could help. And then she got the idea, and then here it is, and it just culminated. But the universe is like, this is how we're saying no all the time. And half the time, we're never going to know we even said no because we're just not seeing the opportunities, right? We're blocking it off before it even starts. So just think about, where are you saying no? When you notice yourself saying no to yourself, question the thinking that goes on behind it, right? Even take a note about it. Carol says, this is so true. I put everyone else first. Now I'm talking about time for me. Sorry, I'm unavailable at this time. Like today, I'm unavailable 9:45 to 11:15. Perfect, right? It's like setting boundaries is huge. Setting boundaries on time and energy. I'm going through that right now where I realize that as we want to experience more of something in particular, we have to choose, where are we going to say no to things that we don't want to, like sometimes going to lunch with a friend, maybe that sounds fun, but in your mind, you're like, man, I'm already feeling stressed out and overwhelmed. Sometimes it's the kinder thing to do is to say, you know what, I can't, this week I'm feeling like this isn't the right, the best time for me, but I'd love to catch up maybe in a few weeks, and really be honest and careful and guarding your time with how you want to spend your time, your energy, and your money, I think. And I think that's natural. I think for a lot of us, we want to please people, or we don't want to hurt their feelings. So that's just important. Noticing where you say no and practice saying yes. So another tip, a little quick exercise that seems small that will start shifting things, is saying yes. Like we deflect compliments all day long. Oh, you look really beautiful. I love that top. Oh, thanks. This whole thing I've had it got on sale. We'll start deflecting things. Or, oh, you know what? You look great too. Which is okay, kind thing to do, but there's a little deflection in it. How about just receiving a compliment without saying anything back, but thank you. Just receive it, right? Sometimes that's hard. Another one I like to challenge people with is at the grocery store, right? Just say, if you're not one to, those with little babies, maybe you do say yes, so that's good. But sometimes, like if you're like a able-bodied person with no kids and you just have a couple bags, generally I'll be like, oh no, no, you don't have to. And part of it is, if I would say yes, there's this sense of, oh, people would think you're lazy, and oh, somebody else might need it more. Like, there's just reasons why I'm like, no, thank you. Well, how about next time just say yes, let them take your bags out, just for the pure acceptance of just saying yes to something, right? And then noticing what thoughts might come up as you wanted to say it. It could be uncomfortable. I know that was one that was, small thing to do, but it's kind of challenging. My mind was like, oh, they'll think I'm lazy. It could be taking, somebody else could use it more or whatever. But you know what? Just say yes. Humor me. It's kind of a fun thing, and it's great to do these little mind things because it shows you where your unconscious, these insidious little thoughts are. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the money set point, because I think this is an important one. So just noticing what is your money set point? And you can do this, don't get too technical, because sometimes we can get in our head and, say, oh, I can't figure it out. And then that's defeating the purpose. So just with average numbers, you know probably how much you've earned the last year. If you're self-employed and been in business, you might want to average, like add up the last 2 or 3 years and divide it by, if you're going to do 2 years, divide it by 2 and get your average income. Or for most of you, probably know what that is. What is your average income that you've allowed yourself to receive? And just know that number. You can write it down. We're going to play with this just a little bit. And again, it's going to reveal a little bit of where we might be stuck in our mindset. So just notice where your numbers are. And I want you to now think about like the next little column, so we know that that number is, and set that aside. And we're going to come up with your abundant annual income. So now most people shoot low. I mean, one thing you can do to make it simple is you can just double it, right? Maybe just double it. But think about what are all the things in that first vision that you had, right? What was the vision that we had in the beginning? Like for me, when I really look at my high life, I'm like, oh, I'm traveling, I'm on boats with my friends, traveling the world with my daughter, you know, I'm having like these big goals. So what realistically, if you're just playing in a fun land, you know, what income is that? How much money would you need to make to enjoy what you want to enjoy, right? And think about it. Think about paying off your debt. Think about, you know, all of the things that might be included in that, your taxes, you know, all this. Sometimes we shoot low for what we actually think we can have, or even just in a more realistic vision of like maybe ideally right now what we would want to live on. We shoot low. We don't always take into consideration savings, IRAs, you know, taxes, paying off debt, and all those things. So just include all of that and come up with a number. Did you guys all come up with a number for your annual abundant income? You can share it in the comments if you want, or just type yes. So you want to think about what that number is. And dream big, not worrying about how. And we're going to do a little exercise in a few minutes where we're going to do a meditation and visualization. For the people that have figured out their money, abundant money income, was it surprising to you, or did you already kind of know that? Where you're like, you know what, it actually does take more than what I think I was setting myself up for. I know when I do this, sometimes it's like, I think it's actually more. Okay, so we're going to do a little meditation knowing those two simple numbers. You can round it to something simple if you'd like. Yes, Jocelyn says yes as well. Jennifer, yes. Carol, yes. Awesome. So just go ahead and let's just play. So I'm going to actually introduce one more concept before we move on. So the meditation we're going to kind of look at our experience with money, okay, and we're going to start to open up some of those money channels. And then I'm going to guide you to kind of your abundant annual income. And then I'm going to introduce an archangel. And I guess I'm going to talk about the archangel first, because I kind of think it'll be nice to do one smooth round. We're going to do a little healing work if you're open to that. You know, and again, with healing work, you just spiritually say yes, no to whatever you want, it's going to happen. The visualization aspect is going to be very powerful in and of itself. But I suspect most of you guys are open to working with angels. You could type yes if you love your angels in the comment below. They're awesome. Or yes, you're open to learning. So Archangel Ariel, I work with in all of my programs, really, I teach around how to communicate with your archangels. They've been a miracle changer for me. It's like having your own spiritual support team, much like you would have your personal trainers or your mentors, right? Accountability is huge, and just like growing, right? Having somebody helping you hold that container to grow to the next level. Whatever your goal is helpful, right? Or just even to bounce an idea with a girlfriend out with, you know, you have your certain girlfriends where it's like, you know, they're the go-to to help you with shopping or finding an outfit. You have other girlfriends that are your go-to for helping support you with a breakup or something, right? You know, we all have we know who our friends are. Well, the angels, having your spiritual support team up there, is kind of like that. They help me see when I'm out of alignment. Their energy is, they each have a little specialty. You know, if you don't remember the right angel, any angel can really help you. But it's fun when you start tuning into and creating a relationship with your spiritual support team. And in my Manifesting Miracles 3-month program, we work with 6 specific archangels to create an archangel abundance activation. And today I'm going to introduce to you one of those angels, Archangel Ariel, which is one that some people maybe don't know of, right? It's a new for some people. You know, Archangel Michael, I love Michael. You know, he's the keeper of our life purpose, and he helps advocate, you know, releasing fear, and he has this big protective energy and elicits courage, you know. But Archangel Ariel has more of a feminine vibration. So she, if you're intuitive or visual, I should say, we're all intuitive, but if you're visual, you might notice a soft pink, right? Where Michael is that dark, you know, is this blue. And so when you start to even think of that angel or bring in that color or that vibration, that frequency, they all hold a different frequency. And Archangel Ariel is all about manifesting. She's about nature. So she's kind of like the nature earth angel, if you will, but really manifesting in the physical form, right? Really bringing the manifestations from spiritual to physical. And she's definitely an advocate for nature and for environment and for animals. So if you get the nudging, if you've been starting to work with angels, or even just in general, making requests to your spiritual support of some sort, however you call that in, you're getting ideas about, picking up trash more, littering, eating more organic, like different things that might affect the planet, chances are Archangel Ariel might be supporting you with these divine guidances that come through. Right? These little nudges and soft whispers are our guidances and our answers to our prayers. And oftentimes we send out these requests and we don't know it. It's very powerful when we send out requests consciously. So Archangel Ariel, again, she, if you like crystals, she is associated with the rose quartz crystal, which is really great for opening the heart, amongst other things. So you can meditate, if you love crystals, you can meditate with the crystals and tune into Archangel Ariel's vibration and start to recognize that energy. And her name means like lioness, right? Like lioness of God. It means it's kind of just this fierce but feminine, fierce energy. Lioness. Or lion. It's technically angels aren't male or female, but their energy is typically going to vibrate at the masculine or feminine, and hers is more feminine and on the receiving side. So we're going to work with her in the meditation a little bit and kind of, do some healing work as a group if you're open to that, but also you can just do your inquiry, right? I tune in with my angels all the time to get my guidance steps, and you can do this. I believe that it's all one line of communication going straight up to God, right? We are God on a level, on a level, but we're also human. So we got to bridge and open that communication between our spirit and our body. And the angels are kind of like this in-between frequency. Their frequency is high, but it's not quite as high as pure love or, just clear divinity, right? The highest essence. And so I guess the last thing I'll say about why the angels are awesome, or why I love them, is they help me, I can recognize their energy as you start to tune into the frequency. They'll catch your attention when you're really unconscious, right? When you're in a nice meditation space, you can connect with yourself, with God, with the universe, that consciousness, that wisdom that we all have available to us, that we are, right? And we can bring that in. Sometimes we get these downloads. But when we're in worry, fear, we're unconscious, we're driving in traffic, we're thinking about this, we're, kind of ahead of ourselves, not being present, it's a little bit hard to connect with our intuition, with that divine wisdom, right? Even though it's there, we have a hard time because the vibration is so far to get there. So the angels kind of come in between, like their energy is denser, and because you get used to seeing them, then they'll pop into your awareness when you're totally unconscious and be like, hey, hand over that worry. And it's like, oh yeah, thanks, here, I can hand it over and I can ask. Boom, right there, I'm back into my point of attraction again to have my day go smoother, whether I'm asking for money or whatever. So yeah, the angels are just awesome. So type in below if you have ever if you consciously work with your angels. I'd love to know. It's really fun. And if you'd like to learn more, you can always say, love to learn more, because it's definitely one of my favorite topics. If you follow me, I'll usually be talking about angels at some point or another. Awesome. No, but I need to. I don't. Love to learn more. Awesome. Well, you guys, it's so powerful. I mean, it helps me take leaps of faith that I would have cultivating this intuition, cultivating your trust. And it has to do with cultivating the trust in yourself and in the universal support, because our dreams and desires and our highest life potential, right, is on the other side of our comfort zone. It's on the other side of some level of fear. And so really you can take big leaps of faith when you cultivate that muscle of intuition and asking, and then knowing that the guidance steps generally come one or two at a time, right? And so we have to know that we don't have to know the whole how. In fact, the more that we can let go of the whole how, the better off we're going to manifest, in a sense, because we have to trust that we're going to be able to drop in and trust ourselves to catch the guidance. And we're going to trust the universe and God and the angels that they've got our back. And we know that we don't have to know how, but we know that this is our desire. And so we can tune into that and just take one or two steps at a time. And as we take the steps, the next steps come. Super powerful. Most of my decisions are triggered in fear. Like if I listened to my logic and my thoughts, I'd be at like the pace of a turtle creating, because, your logic can talk you out of everything, especially when it comes to spending money. I remember I was at this conference for client attraction when I first started my business. I was on my purpose, and I was arguing, this is right before my second accident, I was arguing that I was doing my purpose. Nobody's showing up to my classes though. I am doing it. And I was only giving space like one day, a couple times a month. I was doing little meditations and small things because I was I couldn't. I was working so hard full time, right? But I was trying. I was arguing with. When you find yourself arguing with your angels or your guidance or your intuition, then you know that you're in resistance and you're hitting some sort of fear to look at. So anyways, I went to this conference and I got so triggered. I'm in a room with, like, they're talking about heart-centered cells, which I knew I needed to learn because that's not what I'm good at. I just good at creating and teaching and healing and, intuitive work. And then they start talking about speaker training, and this investment was like $22,000. And I was like, crap. So I was like in this room with a bunch of 300 other empaths, freaking out, trying to figure out to make this decision. So I went outside and I talked myself through my little meditation. Some of you might, who follow in my group, a lot of you are, the TLC body meditation. I talked, listened, and breathed, and I turned down that voice of the fear, like, how are you going to pay $1,000 for 22 months? That's ridiculous. You don't even have your mortgage payment. You can't do that. How irresponsible. Like, right? The voices get loud. And yet I quieted it down, and because I've cultivated that trust with my intuition, and I asked, how would this feel to say yes? Is this in alignment with my highest path? And at that point, I was very committed to being in alignment and taking action with things that are in my highest path, even if it involves money. I know I'm supported. And I leapt in alignment with my vision, and I went ahead, and even though the triggers were still a little bit there, I trusted. And that's only because I started out with the little things. I started out with asking day to day. I started out opening up myself to not have to do it all myself. Right? I think a lot of us are used to taking care of ourselves and doing it, but that's a level of control. So cultivating that trust and opening up and asking and following, oh my gosh, you can make leaps and bounds. And of course, I was able to make those payments and, have now a lifetime membership with amazing other heart-centered entrepreneurs who are creating 6- and 7-figure businesses all day long. So, and I wouldn't have done that. My logic would talk me out. So I'm telling you guys, it's like life-changing to start with the little steps, and I do it in my little daily steps still, because we all need that little bounce back. Yay! Yes, yay! All right. Enough chatter. See, I could talk on that for a while. So let's just close our eyes. We're just going to do it's just going to be like a 5-minute, meditation to dip into aligning with your abundant income level. So let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. You might want to put your hand on your heart or your belly, just like pat your body, just kind of connect with your body. And let's take 3 deep breaths in together. Go ahead and deep breath in. And exhale. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. Last step, deep breath in. And exhale. So I want you for a moment just to imagine out in front of you and let money appear, the money that you're currently, the income amount you're normally receiving right now, just a representation of money as you know it, to appear in front of you. If you're visual, you might see a color, you might see a symbol, or you might not. If you're not visual, you might not see anything. Just know that you're allowing money to present itself as energy in front of you. Awesome. And just notice, allow yourself now to put yourself in the equation and just stand right in front of it. So if you're visual, you might just see yourself standing in front of it and kind of watch the interaction. You might feel your interaction, like, is your body tensing up? Is it leaning in? Is it turning away? What is your initial reaction? Is it distraction? Is it suddenly like, oh my gosh, I have to go? Like it's all perfect. It's just like, what is your reaction? Does it not, you don't want to look at it? All of this is like good information. What is your natural thing when you look at the money? What's your relationship to it? And now I want you to stand there and I want you to allow that money to just double in amount or triple in amount, or maybe you have your abundant annual income number, and let that money now represent that higher number. And now how does that feel? Did it change? Are you excited? Maybe you're excited. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I can't have that's too much, or that's maybe I should lower it. Like, notice the mind chatter. Do you feel tension? And just take another deep breath in. And I'm going to call Archangel Ariel in. She's got that soft pink energy. I'm just going to imagine her encompassing our entire circle. Right, we're in our little virtual circle that's grounded to the earth and connected to God, and we're just knowing that the intention is for the highest good of all and really opening up to your ability to receive your natural birthright. Right, your natural birthright is to receive abundance. It's to be abundant, to be in alignment with receiving all that you desire and more than you can even imagine. Right, when we're in alignment with our divinity and expressing that in our lives, in our work, in our relationships, abundance is a natural byproduct. Money is a natural byproduct. So we're going to have Archangel Ariel work with you. I want you to start, she's holding space now. You can almost just like lean back into her arms. You can imagine her angel wings are just behind you and you can just let go. You don't have to do anything. And I want you to start from your heart, imagining you see your money in front of you. Start imagining a golden infinity circle, like an infinity, like an 8, right? Going from your heart and moving to the money and back to you, right? That energy frequency of that money, right? Whatever that money income is, that vibrational frequency of that money is now coming in to your heart and back out and back into your heart and back out. And you can even just open your arms to receive. Like sometimes it's powerful to like literally just like rub your hands together and just like open your arms as you do this. And take a deep breath in, allow yourself to receive. I'm going to ask Archangel Ariel to help you to release, like help you to just be aware of where you're blocking this energetic flow of receiving money. You can just notice if you're feeling lighter, if it's releasing, or if you're feeling more tension. You can ask her to specifically help direct you in understanding and letting go of what's not longer serving you. And you can ask your money or your angel, right? It's all going to be common wisdom from the space. You can ask, actually, let's ask our money first. Ask your money, what do you need to do in order to receive you, right? How can you love money and let money love you? How can you have more? What do you need to do? Awesome. And now let's ask Archangel Ariel, what next step can I do to be more open to receiving, right? To raise my vibration or to just be open to receiving all the goodness that's there. Because as we move the energy on receiving money, right, it's a big trigger. There's lots to work there, right? Always to different levels as we grow. It opens up your ability to receive love, capacity, fulfillment, intuition, support. So what do you need to do to receive more? And you're just going to practice noticing what thoughts or ideas come to you, what visions, what feelings, what's coming to you. A lot of times it's just how we treat our body. Drink more water. That's my thing lately. Drink more water and green juice. And I'm doing a lot. And I haven't done it. And sometimes we get stuck there until we choose to like do what our body needs, right? It's ridiculous. It prolongs it. So what is it? It sometimes doesn't seem even related, or it seems too simple, and it's often about how we treat ourselves and our body, but not always. It might be paying attention to your money. It might be writing your gratitudes. It could be different things. Go ahead and open your eyes. If you have any good ahas, you can share them in the comments below. But that is one way. We're going to thank Archangel Ariel, let her leave, and kind of just allow the money to all explode out there. And just know that whether you got your information right now or not, don't get too in your head about it, right? That when you practice this, asking and receiving, that's how the guidance comes, right? In different forms. I go way more in depth in this types of training, but essentially you're going to pay attention to how, what ideas and thoughts come, what synchronistic things come to mind, right? Conversations you overhear, like just be open to receiving and knowing that the divine guidance and synchronistic messages are going to start coming to you, whether it came right now or whether you get it throughout the day, right? Notice the intuitive little repetitive thoughts or guidances, or maybe for me, I wake up with epiphanies, like aha, that come when you first wake up or in your dreams, right? Or just if you start hearing the same conversation, maybe the book, like how divine guidance can look, is like maybe you get a book, like you think of a book, right? Or you see it in an email, and then you're in a Facebook group and somebody else is talking about the same book. And then, it's on a topic maybe you've been working on, right? And so just notice those are like when you get synchronistic repetitive thoughts, that's how the guidance comes in. For the first time in my life, I jumped in a massive pool of money. It was so fun, so much freedom. Awesome. I love that. Isn't that fun, right? Beautiful. Good job. And it does. I love money and money loves me. I love that little affirmation. It just feels good and it's fun. And it's a good reminder because the topic of money can be so serious. And when we're serious, we don't manifest very well, right? Agree? Awesome. So definitely some of the biggest roadblocks that I notice is when people are letting their fears and their limits. I was hugging stacks of hundreds. Yes. I love that. Isn't that fun? Rolling in money. I just love that visual. And we should do that, right? Put money down and just roll in it. All right, so yeah, so I mean, that's some of the roadblocks. I love that you guys are getting good responses off of that and just takes the energy and the edge off of that. And then again, to continue to notice your mindset, because that's really one of the biggest blocks I see is when people's mindset comes down to letting the unconscious thoughts run the show, right? Knowing that they want to do something and saying no to themselves because they don't know how they can possibly have it. My daughter came in and asked for money and I said, sure, help yourself to the pool. That's funny. I love it. Kids are natural manifestors, man. They know how to do it, and they usually like to manifest through their parents, right? I guess that's acceptable for a certain while. But my daughter's 23, and I tell her she's a great manifester, and she chooses, she's manifested through me and my dad and family very well for a long time. And I'm like, honey, you are so powerful. If you just only, don't limit yourself to manifesting through me, please. It's funny, but it is good. It's good to teach them that mindset. And spiritually, they match the energy. So as we grow and shift, our kids grow and shift. And so it's really doing a service. When we give to ourselves, and like Carol, I love how she put the boundary on having this time for herself. She committed to that as being a priority. Well, when we do that, it teaches our children and our relationships to do that for themselves too. So that's huge, right? So the next thing, first thing is just roadblocks of either staying committed to finding the alignment with their desires and believing that they can have it and feeling open and worthy. The other roadblock has to do with people are allowing the unconscious things. We have our blind spots. We all have blind spots. I mean, obviously, we have some dissonance of the alignment if we don't have what we're asking for in our experience. When we are a full aligned match to our desires and we're open to receiving it, it's in our experience. And then as a natural creator that we are, we move on to wanting that next expanded experience. Like that's just the nature of our beings. We're creative beings. We're always creating. And so that's the next thing. And the other thing is just not trusting the process, right? Not trusting the process, not accessing and maximizing their intuitive gifts, the spiritual guidance and support team, and really claiming the birthright of who they are. We are powerful creators, guys. We're creating every second of every day, whether we like it or not. And when we're highly sensitive and intuitive and we open up to those things, we are louder receptors. And so it happens quickly. And we can take bigger leaps of faith because we trust that we know that we're not alone. We don't have to know how we're going to do it. There is always an aligned path to our highest purpose and desires, because that is what we're here to experience. I believe at our core, as a life purpose, is to express our divinity, to express who we are as soul. And it's not meant to be in suffering and limitation, right? It's not actually who we are as soul. So when more that we can really trust that process and hone that process and build the communication between our spirit and our body, the faster you're going to experience magic and fun and fulfillment. And it's just become so fun because the sky is truly the limit, right? And it's always a process. It's always a process. And that's definitely one of my gifts, is really helping women awaken to their spiritual potential, awaken to who they are as soul, holding space for reflecting back to them. What are their unique soul gifts and messages? I do some really cool Akashic Records readings and other things, and lots of things I do, but it's really about holding space for somebody's highest potential so they can step into that, right? And trusting themselves with the tangible ways of how to communicate clearly between their spirit and their body, and really aligning their desires and expressing their divinity, their gifts, and their message. So that's exactly what I shared earlier. I want to share with you a little bit about why I created the 3-month Manifesting Miracles and Money program. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit about that with you guys? I'm really excited. And there's lots of fun stuff in there. To everyone, my daughter came back. Oh, yes. Okay, Carol, yes. All right, awesome. Thank you. So let me just get this out here. So this program is definitely for you. If you're ready to shatter the glass ceiling, like if you're just tired of being in struggle, right? If you know that you're meant to live a life of freedom and you know that you have these desires that you're not yet experiencing and you're ready to break through that glass ceiling of your set point of where you've been, you know that there's more for you and you're ready to go for it, then this program would definitely be for you. It's definitely for you if you're ready to really claim your birthright as a powerful creator. If the things I talked to you about in terms of understanding and honing your intuition and cultivating that and really getting to know your spiritual support team and really living your life from that higher plane of experience, then this is also for you. And if you're ready to receive the money that you desire, a lot of the people I work with are spiritual and heart-centered entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of similar things and patterns and limiting beliefs to go through, and it's so helpful in a group. It really creates an alchemical container of transformation to come together, supporting one another, celebrating one another, and healing together, right? Expanding together, just is powerful vortex. And so during the Money and Miracles program, you're going to learn to magnify your ability to manifest with ease. You're going to harness your intuition and learn to really tap into your own inner roadmap with trust and confidence. You're going to learn how to communicate with your spiritual support team. Again, we're going to go with 6. Each week we'll be introducing, so it's a 3-month program, right? But we're going to be introducing 6 different archangels, and there'll be accompanying like 20-minute, like longer, more in-depth healing guided meditations and visualizations on those limits that are affecting everyone. And as a part of the group, you're part of creating, what is there for you. So we get to hone in a little bit on your specific things as well as the collective things that come up. You're going to help move through those limiting fears, insecurities, and overwhelm and procrastination, right? All these things are fears when we don't take action in our businesses and lives, or we're not receiving something, or we are too busy. We create things because there's a fear somewhere hidden. And if you want to become magnetic, right, your clients can find you when you're embodying your energy, when you're embodying your spirit and you're really grounded and present. It's a beacon for manifesting, but it's also a beacon for our clients. It's a beacon for intuitive downloads, divine downloads. It's a beacon of light that creates healing for everyone. And on a collective level, even if they're not your clients, for your family and friends, it starts to elicit healing and growth for people around you. And I think that that's at the core of probably a lot of why I love doing this work. So I really want to make a change on the planet as a whole. But that starts with us really individually making a change within ourselves, and that just spreads like dominoes. And then we're also going to learn how to activate your own healing abilities and really become an inspired leader in your life and business. So that is what that comes with. How it looks is it's on Zoom, but we'll have all the videos on. Like, it's not going to just be me speaker. It's like all of us chatting in a room. Everyone will have access to the microphones in their videos so that we can just hang out and get to know one another. It's going to be definitely interactive. And we're going to have 6 calls, so twice a month, going now through the end of May, or middle of March to the end of May. They will be recorded. You can submit questions ahead of time if you can't make it live, and I'll make sure to answer them. And in between time, you'll have access to my exclusive membership site where there is just meditations and weekly guided videos and audios that you can do over and over with your angels, and otherwise PDFs and workbooks that you can work through to help really hone in that alignment with your desires and really move towards your dreams and your goals that we saw in the beginning in that meditation. Just start taking the steps 1 or 2 at a time, and it will happen quickly. Trust me. What else does it come with? And there's 2 options. There's group only, and then I'm definitely an intuitive healer and reader, so I have some Akashic Records readings that I have a second option where you can choose VIP, where you get your own soul gift and alignment activation Akashic Records reading with me, and that shows who you are at soul level, right? We're all our own, at soul, we all are the divine collective within us, but we have our unique recipe. And when we know our unique recipe and soul gifts and specializations and how we are made, what our unique makeup is, it gives us lots of clues on how we need to be running our life and business in order to create abundance. And with abundance, when we're expressing our divinity through our work and through our lives, then abundance comes, fulfillment comes, joy, energy, inspiration, enthusiasm. That's what we're meant to experience, right? And so the first part is just getting to know your gifts. So we'll give you a lot of clue-ins on how to set your business up. I think as spiritual entrepreneurs, there's a lot of templates out there and like, do this, do that. It does not work for all of us, right? We're all, especially the more sensitive you are, the more it's a kind of an individual thing. Learning strategies is important, and I do help people with learning certain strategies, but it needs to be created from a space of who you are. and you need to create your business from that space. Some people need lots of freedom on their calendar. Some people need structure. Like we have different genetic makeup or different divine makeups that go into play. And the second half of that is the core things that are stopping you. So we then do a realignment on the core things that are like coming back to the source of origination, whatever past life, however long that was, that pattern began, that's now coming through and still affecting you, and really blocking and creating a restriction from you expressing your divinity and owning your spiritual gifts all the time or more, right? And so we do a big healing on that as well. And then the next reading that comes with it is a manifestation blueprints, because we all manifest differently. For some people, vision boards work well. The end goal works well. That's going to be what pulls you. Other people need to enjoy the daily process. It doesn't matter if they focus on the goal that much. That's why some people have better luck with vision boards than others. I think having a vision is great, but then some people it's going to be more important to make sure that your daily thing is structured in a way that feels good. Right? There's like about 8 or 10 different points that we kind of look at, how do you manifest specifically so that you can align up with your financial intentions or whatever goal you make. Most people are going to have a financial intention, and we can do a business assessment where I energetically assess, how is your business in alignment with your marketing, your sales, your clients, your niche, whatever, like getting honed in on what is that for you and how in alignment are you, right? So you'll start experiencing more money right away. So those are really, really powerful. And there's actually only 5 spots available on those because that's one-on-one time. I already have 5 people. Some of the spots have already been taken, basically. So there's 5 left. So I'll be offering that. Yeah, how's that sound? Does that sound fun, you guys? It's really fun. I love teaching this stuff. So the investment for the group program is $997. And there's a payment plan available as well. And the $1,597 includes the one-on-one work with me. Now I have one of my business coaches, Manette. She's actually a coach of mine. She creates a high 6-figure, business, creating 3-day love events, very successful already. But we did an Akashic Records soul gift reading, and she was thrilled because as we grow and shift and evolve, our businesses need to grow and our life needs to shift. Our goals shift as well. We need to stay in alignment with that, right? And so it was really validating because she's looking at taking a little bit of a new direction in her business. And it was really validating for her to be like, okay, this is the right track, right? And then some of the patterns and blocks that we came up with, she could recognize still hindering her. And she is creating success. So there's always new levels of having more, right? So I told you that I was going to, and the other key is not feeling run ragged and burned out, because we can make a lot of money, as I did before my first business, and be miserable. And that's not fun either, right? It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, I think you can work less and make more when we can get in alignment. So I told you in the beginning, I'm going to offer you something really special for all of you. So for the first 5 people that sign up for the VIP that want the Akashic Records readings, because I know that those are really valuable and fun, I'm going to be offering that at $997. And so there's 3 payments of $397, and offer a bonus of a 1 extra hour of a soul success strategy session at the end. And that's a coaching session. So we're going to take the information we got and actually give you some solid strategy to take with that. So it's basically an extra coaching session, not just a clarity call. So that would be 1 a month that you'll be having private time. And so that'll be 3 payments of $397. But that's only the first 5 people because that's private time. And so I have to be cautious with how much I put on my schedule, right? And how much I can offer that for. And so then I'm going to make an offer just until for the next few days, sometime next week, I think it's Wednesday, for $497, or 3 payments of $197 for the group itself. And with a bonus of everybody gets, whether you do the Akashic Records or just the 3-month group program at $197 a month or $497 in full, you're going to get my energetic mastery for sensitive and spiritual women as a bonus. This is life-changing, guys. Like, this is the crux of what I use every day. It's what I teach my clients. I have seen so many people get amazing results in learning how to manage your energy as a sensitive person, right? Or anybody really, but especially highly sensitive, to create energy healing, like a flush, so that you're not sucking in and absorbing everybody else's energy around you all day. That's one big reason why we keep ourselves small in our business, is because we already feeling energetically overwhelmed and responsible for managing that. And we're like, I can't take on more. I want more, but I can't. So we got our foot on the pedal and the brake. So learning those tools is super empowering. You'll immediately open up your intuition. I teach you how to set your energy from stage, from how to, for whether it's coaching or online, to be embodying your energy, the embodied presence makes you a beacon of light, right? And how to not take in the energy from the audience, but be able to read the energy and how to set the tone when you're speaking, because it can be overwhelming. Even Facebook Lives can feel overwhelming, right? The things we need to do to put ourselves out there, the visibility triggers can get overwhelming. And a lot of it's energetic overwhelm. And so that is a very priceless course that is worth $497 on its own that you will get as a bonus. And we actually have one extra live call. And normally it's just a digital course at your own pace, but we have a live call next Thursday to just for that little course to get you started with any questions you might have and kind of work the tools together as a group. So I'm really excited. The BIT, let me put this in here. The link for that for you to look at is bit.ly manifest program. And yeah, so you can look at that. I would love to have you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out with me. I'm happy to hop on a call if you need to have more clarification on anything. But there definitely is a limitation on how many of those Akashic records I'm going to be doing at that price and in general at all, because it's one-on-one time and some of them have already been taken. I'm teaching 2 classes next week and I'm sure that they're going to be filling up quickly. So I would be excited to know that you want to be a part of that. If you have questions, again, you can ask me now. You can type in them below. Anything you want to know, I'm happy. I can stay on just a couple more minutes here, or private message me, as well, and we can either hop on a call or possibly answer your questions that way as well. So it's definitely one of my gifts, and one of my favorite things to talk about is really helping people really align with their desires, open up their gifts, tune into their unique message, and really make an impact on the world. Thank you, Jen. Tell me your number one favorite money book. Okay. I really love, I love everything's energy for me. So I love either the Abraham Hicks. Okay. I like the law of attraction. I like Abraham Hicks, the Vortex, or they have one on financial money. So that's a good one. I think I would go with that, because to me, it's all about really looking at the inner stuff that's coming up. It's kind of individual for people. I think the process is different. Do you know what day the calls will be on? The Thursday mornings at 10. So let me write this down. I'll put Abraham. Do you know Abraham Hicks? If you've already got that one, then I can give you something else. But Abraham Hicks, either the Vortex, that's almost more about relationships, but it really is a good one. And also they have one specific on financial abundance. And I really enjoy their CDs too. Oops, I can't type. Financial abundance. So yeah, what's the next question? Oh yeah, I'm typing it in, Joycelyn, hold on. There you go. Financial abundance. So it's the Abraham Hicks. So they'll always say Abraham Hicks, and then they'll have different ones on health and relationship and other things. So the Vortex is good, but also they have one financial abundance and money specifically. The days of the week will be on Thursday. So I'm going to be having them live on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And again, they'll all be recorded, so you'll be able to have access. So if you can't make it live, it's great to make it live. But if you can't make it live, then they will be recorded. You can submit questions that you have ahead of time, and I'll be sure to answer them on the call so that you get all of your questions answered. And also any requests, like healing requests, because we'll be doing live healings as well. You're welcome. Thanks, you guys, for joining. Okay, Tammy, I think. Oh, thanks, Tammy. I didn't know you're on here, so I can't see everybody. So I'm excited to know you're here too. Awesome. Well, thanks, you guys. And you can also join me. I got one more day left of my Facebook Live Miracles Facebook Live series. So I'll be on live tomorrow at 10 a.m. on my business page. I don't even remember what the last tip is. That's so funny. But I've done 4 different tips all week long. So you can catch back up on those if you've missed them. It's been my honor to be here with all of you. Thank you so much. I am so glad to have you here. And you being here allows me to show up in my gift and really express my gift and my purpose with the world, which makes me feel all filled up inside. So thanks again. I'll look forward to seeing you guys somewhere soon. Bye-bye.